It's Saturday night, sort of. Saturday afternoon, I guess, for most of you. For me, we are bordering on Saturday night, as I go to bed so early, as mentioned before, as mentioned often. I go to bed early because I get up pretty early. I'm usually up. I don't know why I have my clock set for 2:29 in the morning, but it is. I could just as easily set it for 2:30. I think it just accidentally one day I put it on 2:29 instead of 2:30, and I've kept it there. So I seldom wake up with the alarm anyway. I'm usually up a little bit early, 2:15, 2:20. Get about 7 hours of sleep a night. I could stand to use a little bit more, to be honest with you. Um, Sleep hygiene is important to me. It should be important to all of us, and I place a high value on it. Um, However, the past few months, I've been getting to bed a little bit later than I would like to. Not by much, but half an hour of extra sleep wouldn't be nice. And I need to make that a priority. And that's the problem. A lot of people will ask, um, improving the sleep hygiene, improving the diet, improving the overall health, including emotional, uh, spiritual. The issue, we could always go to the effects, meaning go to bed early, um, or simply say eat better, eat more vegetables. All of that's true. However, hardly any lasting changes happen by focusing on the effects. Going on a diet, going on a fast, cleansing, um, going to bed early one night. Um, the reason is because no lasting changes happen through effects. This is why people go on a diet and a year later they've regained most, if not more, of the weight they lost. Our friend Lee is here. Lee, how are you? So what we want to do is go to the cause. If you cure the cause, if you fix the cause, if you heal the cause, the effects themselves disappear because there's nothing causing them, hence the name cause. We live in a causal universe, meaning that there's a cause, and a cause. We like to think of things as cause and effect, cause and effect. However, every effect leads to other causes. So we can really say it's a causal universe. That yes, there's effects, but an effect is an end result of a cause, and the effect itself begets another cause. And on it goes, and we're stuck. In yoga, as well as Buddhism, it's called samskaras, mental imprints, that we have this lifetime from birth, maybe in the womb, maybe in previous lifetimes. Sorry. William says, "Hello, Yogi." William, how are you? Been looking forward to hearing from you, my friend. Um, so it doesn't matter where they arise from; they're just mental imprints. If you want to hear a song by Rush on an LP, on an album, and I'm particularly picking Rush because this is our friend Lee's favorite band. If you want to hear a song by Rush and you're listening to an album, old-fashioned album, and you put it on track 4 of a Led Zeppelin album, you're never going to hear Rush. It's the same with every samskara. If you want to make a change and yet your needle keeps going on the same track, you're going to get the same results every time because you're in that lane, you're in that emotional imprint. So what we can do, yoga, the path of yoga, is emptying the samskaras, clearing those imprints. It can take some time. We're talking meditation, we're talking breath work. However, even when it takes time, the cleansing effects are instantaneous. There's also a quicker way, and I'll get into that in just 1 minute. Let me bring up the desktop. A little easier for me to read the comments. Let's see. William says, I ate like 28 tomatoes because I did. And like 6 plums. Nice. At the same time, Lee says diet is something I struggle with because I'm addicted to the quick fix and the sweet treat. So one day I may do a fantastic and eat super well, maybe 1,000 calories, and the next is worse than 1,000. William says that's too much. About to buy an energy drink. Poor man's here. Yeah, that's typical for a lot of people, Lee, because again, it's what they call the samskaras, the emotional grooves that we have. You have eating patterns, and you might be able to make a short-term shift or change, but eventually we're triggered and we go back into that emotional pattern that we have trained our entire life as how we respond to a given situation. So the path of yoga helps us erase those imprints, gives us a clean slate, literally a clean slate. To totally erase them, hey, it might have taken lifetimes to get it. It might take lifetimes to get rid of them. However, even just a few days of practicing breath work, practicing meditation, we recognize them and it gets easier. This is the nature of karma. Karma isn't punishment. It's not retribution. It is simply the end result of every action, which goes on and on and on. So you want to escape karma? Then we need to work with the cause and not the effects. So no diet's ever going to work in the long term, or you have to stay on that diet forever. End the addiction. Go within, cleanse the mind, meditate, do breath work. And A Course in Miracles would say, an even simpler path and a quicker path. Forgive the cause, and the effects will disappear. Let's see. William says, hey, Yogi, what if it plays out as claimed? William, I don't know. What if it does? If it plays out as claimed, it's not the end result. Because you just continue doing something else. There's no such thing as an end to the path. William says, the poor man in which the energy drinks did not have sugar, dextrose, or sucrose. Yeah, it's funny they call them energy drinks. It doesn't really give you energy. Paradox says, I'm extremely sad. I had 1,125 subscribers. Suddenly then back to 912. Hey, if you get 1,000 once, it counts for monetizing. But of course, you got to get the watch hours. And that's the important thing. Are you putting out things that people want to watch? And you putting out things long enough for people to watch? And also, no cause to be extremely sad. If the worst thing that ever happens to you the rest of your life is that you've lost some subscribers, you're still living a pretty blessed life. Paradox says, I don't know what to do. I lost so many subscribers. Nothing you can do. My suggestion, focus on putting out quality videos. That's it. Focus on putting out quality videos. If you have quality videos, people will find them and they'll keep watching. They'll keep watching and they'll keep watching. Paradox says, it's a tragedy. And yes, yes, please. Squirrel Sniper says, greeting beautiful souls. Hello, my friend Squirrel Sniper. William Hart says, stop talking about it. Lee says, say William, Squirrel, and Laradox. Poor man says, William Hart, like C4, buy the powder. Picked up some red corn today on sale, $60 a jar. C4, I haven't heard of that. So you're saying it's pretty clean? William says, the more you focus on it, the larger the distance it becomes. If you let them come and go as a gift, whatever you gain or lose, subs will always fluctuate. If you know this and it's a pattern that repeats, you can recognize it and lessen the effect, as you can change how you react to it. Excellent advice, and not what Larodax wanted to hear. He wanted to know, how do I get those subscribers back? How do I get them back now? How do I keep them? How do I get more? But you know, Larodax isn't much different than most of us. Even when we step on the spiritual path, how do I get enlightened? How do I get enlightened now? I don't want a lifetime of practicing yoga. I don't want to meditate every day. How do I get out of suffering now? And oddly enough, the answer is the same. Either way. You meditate for a lifetime so you have the effects today. The end result is meditation. The end result is forgiveness. The end result is doing breath work. You don't embrace them as the end of the path. You embrace them as the path. And we're always on the path. As I wrote about a while ago, someone asked me, this was years ago, how many days of sobriety have I had? And I said, I don't know. And they were like, well, every former hardcore drinker remembers the exact day that they're on. And I said, you know what? I was a pretty hardcore drinker for a decade. I don't care how long it's been. I don't want to keep track. I don't want to stay addicted in any form whatsoever. I want to give up the addiction. Let's see. So let's go say everyone leave. See how fast well, of course, if everyone leaves, the views would drop because there'd be no one here. Frog says, you play Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite. I'll be honest with you. I know it's a game. I don't know what it is. Sabine's here. Sabine, how are you? Let's see. Squirrel Semper says, change what you're doing, Larodax. Larodax will be back tomorrow. All well-intended advice, and we all know how that's going to be taken. Sabine says hi to everyone. William said that's a good idea. I was going to buy some Zen packs or something. Poor man says, yeah, it's better than coffee. The Red Corn Total War is like 35 a jar. Usually never tried. Supposed to be awesome. We got a Guten Tag, Sabine. He says, Eric, do you have a friend from childhood that you sometimes think about that you may have lost contact with and just smile at your memories? I do. I'm very fortunate that quite a few of my childhood friends I'm still in contact with, at least on Facebook. I know a lot of people who don't like Facebook for whatever reason. I'm friends on Facebook with people that I went to kindergarten with, all through my Catholic school years, high school with the exception of, I think, maybe one or so. Facebook friends with every one of my ex-girlfriends. Which is pretty amazing when you consider what a lousy boyfriend I've been at some times in my life. And by lousy, I mean, I was caught up in my own stuff, caught up in my own addictions. When I say addictions, I'm not necessarily referring to the physical addictions, but addicted to, as I mentioned at the beginning, what they call the 5 afflictions of the mind. We're addicted to our attachments, to our aversions. We are addicted to our belief that we are a small, separate ego. That's all we are. And if it's all we are is an ego eventually dies, which gives us the 4th affliction, our fear of death. And then, greatest of all these, the fifth, is ignorance. That we are ignorant that all of those things are happening. Our life is shaped, our entire life is shaped by those four things, and we are completely ignorant of that. We go through life believing that we have free will. I'm choosing this, I'm choosing that, when in actuality, everything is being caused by avoiding pain, avoiding sorrow, avoiding suffering, or always seeking pleasure in this, pleasure in sensory objects, pleasure in other people, pleasure in events, pleasure in food, in drink, in drugs. Um, Absolutely nothing free about that. That's again what we call the samskaras, emotional imprints. To be free, we need vidya. And vidya is ignorance, vidya is knowledge, wisdom, awareness. When we are aware of all that, just by being aware of that, everything begins to change completely on its own. The more we meditate, the more we do breath work, the more we forgive, the easier it is to be aware of all of that. You might still get sucked in to all those patterns, but now you get out of it quicker. It's like the old story. I'll jump back in the conversation just a bit. It's like the old story of a man walking down a sidewalk, and he steps into a uncovered manhole, falls into a sewer. The next day, it happens again. The next day, it happens again. One day, he remembers, hey, there's a open sewer hole. Don't fall into it. And he walks down the street and he falls into it. And that happens over and over and over again. Then one day, he takes a different route, misses the sewer hole completely. That's the whole process of waking up. We keep falling down that rabbit hole. We keep falling down until we begin to see it. So we keep staying addicted to our anger, staying addicted to our reactivity, always being reactive, never being responsive, until we bring a little bit of awareness to that through the art of meditation, through the art of breath work, through the art of yoga asanas, the postures, through the art of forgiveness. And then we start smiling and we say, you know what? Man, I got caught up in my anger. I got caught up being reactive. But now, because I'm aware of that, I can say, hey, I'm sorry. I was caught up in my stuff. Now we're getting enlightened. Eventually, we catch it right before it happens. Man, I was about to do something stupid. I apologize. I'm not going to go down that road because it just causes trouble for you, causes trouble for me. Now we're really getting enlightened. And then eventually, just doesn't seem to happen. Maybe every once in a while we get caught up. Maybe every once in a while we sense it. But for the most part, we're more responsive. We're calm. We're easygoing. We extend love. We forgive easily. All right. I'm going to dive in. So, a long-winded answer to Lee's question. I do have friends like that. And I'm really lucky that most of them, I can smile at the memory and then send them a message on Facebook and chat with them. Roy says, if you attempt to use the quantitatively collective sum of people as your metric of success or happiness, you could be stuck trying to win their affection forever. Would you want to be seen as a collectible token? Nice, William. That was nicely said. Swartzepper says, I lost all my old friends, but knowing new friends are everywhere just waiting. Well, I'm sorry you lost your friends, Sniper, and absolutely happy to count you as one of mine. And hopefully you count me as one of yours. William says, I'm addicted to influencing the perception of my ego to others. If you know that, then you're aware, and it's already in the process of changing. He says, how do you mean, William? I don't understand. Poor man says, I like the saying, if you're afraid of dying, you're already dead. Nice. I don't think I've heard that. I like the saying, it's a Sufi saying, die while you're still alive. It's the only way to live. Die to the ego now, and you're truly, truly alive. So we're not talking about fear of physical death. It's the fear of the ego's death. Above all, the ego wants to make itself known and appreciated, and to call all the shots, and to let other people know how important it is. So even if we think we've conquered the fear of physical death, it's the ego that is doing that. It's the ego that's saying, well, I built this monument to myself. I built the biggest tower. I have a space shuttle. I've starred in movies. I've written books with my name on it, whatever. So, hey, I've transcended physical death. I will be remembered forever. That's just the ego's fear of death. And imagine what better way you could have lived your life and not having to go to all that trouble. William says, not just that, squirrel. Do you count yourself any lesser for having their encounter? That is what I was trying to convey. Everything being a gift. Absolutely. Let's see. Sniper says, William Hart, with what's happening with some of the masses that are buying into the riots here in the UK, have only the perception of reality. I agree, Squirrel Sniper. They are projecting their fear, which is causing their perception, the reality that they're living in, and they're living them out. All of that could change with a single thought. A single thought. Or let's say all of that could change with the absence of a single thought. For all of us. Think of any issue. Think of any issue that we have. And if we didn't have that thought, where would we be? Who would we be? Hey, Sabine, how are you feeling? I know you said you were feeling better earlier. I hope you still are. William says, what makes him no lesser a person, the subcount he has. We have never once required him to meet any subcount. It was conditional. I agree. I can't help but feel for our friend Laradox. He's caught up in that it's a karmic wheel. My self-esteem is how many subs do I have? And it can happen. Let's see. Sabine says, hi, William. All fine. I was listening on a concentration on what Yogi Eric said. William says, oh, you mean in relation to the addiction thing? Sabine says, so I was so focused on, I have to say, sorry for not saying hi earlier. Animal says, for us men in here, how to keep your woman happy. You always have to be her lover and always keep it spicy. Always date her like the first time. Well, that's not bad advice, that's for sure. Everyone likes to feel appreciated and loved and that they're attractive. Oscar's here. Oscar says, I want to wish everyone a happy Saturday. Yogi, my friend, big hug, big bro. Speak the mind. Thank you, Oscar. Much appreciated, my friend. Oscar's putting in big work, guys. He's putting in double sessions. How's that for dedication? Hey, let me throw out something real quick. If anyone is not subscribed to our friend Lee, uh, check him out. Lee is going to be off to a new start on a YouTube journey. We're trying to get to 50 subs as well. I hope you guys have checked out our friend Mears. He is now got super chats as well as membership. And then one other thing. Hey, Sabine, do you guys have a premiere tomorrow? Lee says, Sabine, same. I think change is easy. The physical aspect of change we can all do. The mental part. Challenges, like Eric said, falling down the rabbit hole, we know to go another way. And yet, how often did we fail to do that? Sometimes we use the example of, well, I beat this addiction, but we become addicted to something else. We've just traded it for something else. I know many, many people in AA who won't go a day without a meeting, sometimes several meetings. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Alcoholism has destroyed more people through the years, maybe than anything ever. If you can use that as a tool, AA, to stay clean and sober and healthy, positive, by all means do so. However, it's just a healthier addiction. When I quit drinking, or when drinking just left my life, is probably a better way. Man, I was blessed with that. I consider myself a fairly strong person. I doubt I could have gritted my teeth and just stopped. You know that? I don't know if I could. Maybe for a week, maybe for a month, maybe for a year. Eventually, I would have talked myself, hey, I've gone a year, I could probably have a drink. As well, when it stopped, I didn't want to be addicted to going to meetings. When I was given the gift of sobriety, I realized what I wanted above all else was freedom, liberation from all of those addictions. I'm not free. I'm not liberated. I'm not enlightened. But I am by degrees happier and happier and happier and happier. It's the same, a lifelong of depression. It's still there. I'm not cured of depression. However, I see it, I witness it, I experience it, but I don't suffer from it. Not any longer. Because it's just what's happening. The suffering was caused when I could feel it and I'd want something else. Not this again, man, I can't take it. I can't take feeling this way. I don't want to go down that dark hole. I don't want to spend however many days it's going to last. And I would start suffering before it even happened, just knowing that this triggers it. Sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. And I would start suffering before it even happened. How many of us have been down that road where we dread something and we find that we're suffering and it hasn't even happened yet? So now, a large, not all, but a large amount of suffering has eased for me, because when something happens, it's happening. I don't need to push it away. Doesn't mean I like it, but I don't need to push it away. I can accept it. And that's been huge. Acceptance is huge. He says, Oscar, happy Saturday to you. He says, nope, it started again. I'm sorry, Sabine. I hope it doesn't last, my friend. All right, let me catch up here. Oscar says, hi to Lee. Animal says, also for all of us men, when your lady wants you to do something her way, just do it, because her, it is love language. She will feel love, point, period. If she's deserving, so women, you do your part. Well, thank you for that, Animal. William says, working on myself mentally is nice and all, but you got to get cracking for real life progress. I don't know about that, William. Again, you're thinking in terms of the effects, which means you're just going to keep getting effects and effects and effects. Most of them you don't like. Most of them you won't like. Some of them you might. But then we end up living a life of Henry David Thoreau called A Quiet Life of Desperation. We're just getting by. And I don't mean that by getting by in the same job or getting by in a relationship or getting by in whatever, because all of that can change, but we're never truly, 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 truly happy. That's a lot of trulies. Until, and it's not working on ourselves, it's getting to know ourselves. And when we get to know ourselves, then everything changes. I talked before about working on yourself. Who is the self that you're working on? It's the ego. And if the ego is an illusion, just a collection of thoughts, no such actual thing as an ego. No scientist is ever going to find an ego. No one who meditates for a long period of time is ever going to find an ego. They're never going to find the source of the ego. The source of an ego is a thought. And again, imagine if that thought wasn't there. So it's just getting caught up in that whole thought process again of this is real life. That I don't need to, I don't need any real introspection. I don't need to find out who I am. I got to get busy with real life. Got to make money. I got to do this. True. This is true. We all need to make money. We all need to support ourselves. But there's a better way. We can do all of that and be happier with who we truly, truly are. Sabine says, so I'm dizzy, feeling funny in my stomach, and have trouble concentration. You think maybe going to the doctors if you're not feeling better in the next day or so? Oscar says, I have a question, Yogi. What makes you a good person? How do you know you're a good person? That's a great question. I'm going to have to think about that a moment. How do you know what makes a great person? It's subjective. Very subjective. I could give you an answer of what I think a great person is, but it might not meet the standards of what anyone else says a great person is. So here's what I say a great person is. When you are in touch with your authentic self, who you really are, you are naturally and easily going to be a great person. And that doesn't meet any standards, including your own. You no longer say to yourself, I'm going to do this because I'm a good person. This is what a good person would do. This is what I should do. Now things just get done. That's what they say in the Tao Te Ching. Things just get done. There's no doer. There's no good person. There's just Oscar doing stuff. And yet, because he's in touch with the authentic Oscar, who he really is, it's always good stuff. It's always kind stuff. It's always compassionate stuff. It's always empathetic stuff. And it is always stepping up to do what needs to be done. Naturally and easy. However, sometimes we get pulled back in to, let's call it the big Oscar and the little Oscar. The big Oscar does all that, all the kind stuff. Always steps up, always does the right thing. That's the authentic Oscar. The little Oscar is the one that says, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do this. What's in it for me? I'm not even sure I like this person. Why should I do it for this person? That's the ego. It's still going to come up. But the bigger Oscar smiles at the voice of the ego. Sometimes you might get caught up in it and you end up doing the wrong thing. But the bigger self, the bigger Oscar, smiles and says, it was a momentary lapse. It's not who I really am. So a good person doesn't even realize he's a good person. William says, same as Sabine, ate too many tomatoes. That would do it. Lisa, Sabine, hope it passes quickly. You're not in discomfort. Absolutely. Sabine says, William, at least they did taste good. I think he said he ate 20. So I would imagine, I can't imagine eating one tomato and going, man, this tastes horrible. Let me have another. Although, that's what I did with beer. I didn't like the first beer I ever drank, and yet somehow I said, let me have another. Then 10 years later, I was still saying, let me have another, and another, and another, and another. Oscar says, Hart, what's up? Sabine is editing the video for tomorrow. Awesome. So it's going to be a live stream, or not a live stream, a premiere. William says, yeah, but he was gaining 5 pounds worth of eating all those tomatoes. He says, Sabine, what time? I think normally it's 4 o'clock here. 4 o'clock Eastern time, so it would be, I think we're 4 hours apart, William, or Lee, maybe 5 hours. Speed says, I love tomatoes, cut in slices, and a piece of bread with butter and tomatoes on top. Nice. Lee says, sounds healthy and delicious. Poor man says, messed around with many substances years ago. Alcohol was hardest by far to quit. 9 weeks without a drink. Nice. Well done. Animal says, by the time you get this message, I am no longer in your life. That's what you think, Animal. You are always in my life. We are participants within the same life itself. Our friend Alana is here. Alana, how are you? Lana is back. Sabine says, tomorrow, I guess 9 p.m. Switzerland time, 8 p.m. UK time, and 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern time. Lisa is going to be there. Awesome. How are you doing, Alana? Lisa says, Eric, I find your chats very fulfilling, and I feel mentally nourished here. Well, thank you, Lee. You know what? I enjoy every conversation I have here with everyone. It does a whole lot for me. I mentioned before, I think of this as what they call in yoga and Buddhism, the Sangha, spiritual community. That every one of us here, for the reason of discovering something about ourselves. Lana says, Lee, how are you doing? So again, I want to say to Poor Man, good job. Well done, my friend. Our friend Walking with Goldie is here and says, hi there, lovely people. Hi there, lovely Goldie. How was your day, Goldie? This was it, right? This was day 6. Lee says, I'm good, Alana. Goldie says she's going to sleep, leaving this playing. I appreciate that, Goldie. Have a good night's sleep, my friend. Asia's here. Asia, how are you? Great to have you back. I appreciate you coming back again. Animal says, you're right, I'm still here, but by the time you get this message, I won't be. You will always be with me, my friend. We are joined, quantum entangled. As we were talking about with Lee earlier, we are similar waves in an infinite ocean of consciousness. William says, sorry, closed eyes and trying to rest a bit. Can't sleep. William says, hey, Yog, what's up? Let's see. William says, Yogi, would you cover sleep mantra? There are specific sleep mantras. And Tibetan Buddhism has some really nice ones. What I would do, though, instead of a sleep mantra, is, do you remember the Ujjayi breathing? Making that ha sound through the nose. Very gently. Not seeing how loud you can do it. Just a very gentle, it's like you're fogging up the bathroom mirror. But now do it with your mouth shut and do it as you inhale. There'll be a slight constriction of the throat. And just do that. Breathing in, you don't even have to do it for any count. Just breathe in. I don't know if you guys can hear me. And just let it go. You can also do the, and I think you and I have talked about this before on Facebook, the so hum mantra. Breathing in is so, exhaling is hum, the natural mantra of the breath. The breath will take you in any direction you need to go. It'll take you to sleep. It'll take you to deep states of meditation, deep states of awareness. It will also wake you up and invigorate you. Whatever direction you want to go, there's a breathwork pattern to take you there. Let's see. Poor man says, thanks, buddy. Not easy. Absolutely not. It has been 25 years, 1999, for me. I've told this story many times. I wasn't even seeking to quit. I needed to quit. I was basically destroying my life. I ruined relationships. I wrecked cars. I endangered other people. I endangered myself. Disappointed my family and friends. Asia says, how are you? I'm good, Asia. Thank you. How are you doing? William says, breathing. And it's not even a concentration. It's very gentle. Simply awareness. You're being aware of the breath. You're being aware of the sound of the breath. You're either doing the and just noting. Animal says, okay, fine. This is the last one. I'm not sure if I believe you. Either way, my friend, just visiting once means that you're in my heart. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming in here. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom. And I'm not sure what the last part means. Asia, it says, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, by now probably everyone's heard my story of how I quit drinking. Always happy to tell it again. I've been asked before, is it painful for you recalling that? And it used to be a bit, but now almost like it was a whole nother person, that I'm telling the story of someone else. And yet that someone else is like so intimate, um, that I'm feeling everything that person was feeling. It just no longer relate to who that person was or is, or the motives that he had for staying drunk so much. And I mean so much. Literally almost every day for a decade. For the years of maybe 19, all right, I'm going to be generous to myself. I started drinking, going to bars, hanging out in 1989 or so. It didn't become really an issue until probably 91. So from 91 to 99, I could probably count the days that I did not go out and drink heavily. Um, they probably would be less than 50, being charitable to myself. And it might be considerably less. And it wasn't just going out to have a few drinks. Every time I went out, I knew I was going to get drunk. That was it. That was the objective. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh, I also want to keep mentioning, keep putting it out there. We mentioned the premiere coming up tomorrow with Optimob, but anyone has some extra time to watch a playlist, watch a few videos for Optimob, pushing really hard to get the watch hours in, to get that first level of monetizing. And they were less than, I forget what they said, definitely less than 1,000. So we're getting there. As well as pushing with getting Jason's watch hours. Poor man says, have a good evening at all. Oops, sorry guys. My live feed keeps freezing up. I appreciate you coming by, poor man. Thanks for spending time with me, spending time with us. So, there's actually Sabine who had a suggestion last night, and I meant to do it today, and I forgot to make a list of all the people who need watch hours, and I would pin it so people could say, I would pin it on every live stream that I do. So people would come in and say, well, Jason needs some watch hours. I want to make sure that I spend a little extra time today on his channel. Or Optimob is so close. And there's a few others. And also maybe put some subs. We now know that Lee would like to grow his channel a bit, get to 50. Asia says, you know anything about how to carve soapstone? I don't, but you know what? It seems fascinating on how to do it. Do you carve soapstone, Asia? I'll tell you the one thing I know about carving or sculpting, and it's a quote from Michelangelo when he was asked how he how he managed to carve David out of a single block of stone, which is a pretty daunting task. And he said he didn't, that David was already in the stone, and he just simply took away everything that was not David. How beautiful is that? So if you're carving soapstone, what are you trying to carve? Let's say you want to carve an elephant in a soapstone. If you know that the elephant is already in the soapstone, you simply remove everything that is not the elephant. That probably doesn't help. But it's a great metaphor. That's the entirety of spiritual practice. Asia says, I got to write that down. I absolutely love it, and I come back to it all the time. I probably quote that once a week or more. Our friend Barb is here, says, blessings one and all. Hugs to you, my friend. How you feeling, Barb? Asia says, wants to learn. You know what? I bet you could learn at least the basics on YouTube. I bet you there's a YouTube channel, How to Carve Soapstone. And you know what? We're going to find out right now. Barb says, not good. I'm sorry to hear that. What's going on, Barb? Give me 1 second. Pain from a bad fall? Oh, I'm sorry, Barb. When did the fall happen? One second, guys. How to carve for beginners. Soapstone carving for beginners. Asia says, sorry about the fall, Barb. Hope things get better. Thank you for that, Asia. Barb says, hi, my spiritual brothers and sisters. It's all in a day of a life. Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it seems. Barb, anything, just pain, anything serious? Did you have to go to the doctors? Last night, during the night. Asia said, thanks. I hope you can open that link. If you can, if you do a search, you get the basics down, and then you just practice, practice, practice. Don't look for perfection. Have fun in the carving. It's not about the end result. It's about the carving itself. And when you do that, the end results keep getting better and better and better. Barb says, went to the doctor, went to the bathroom, and the dog got in my way. Yeah, I was always afraid of that when my dad started walking with a cane. So I was always careful. Make sure the dog was kept away. Barb says, no, doctor, they put me in hospital. Yeah, I know you don't want to go back to the hospital anytime soon. They don't do much. They push pills. But do you think it's anything serious, or just badly bruised? Or Asia said, I can. I'm just seeing if any of our friends happen to be live right now. Barb says, well, Two Eyes is black and at night can't see him. Also, I go to step over him. He stood up. Barb says, no, it's the degeneration of my bones and joints. I will be okay. Well, sending prayers to you, my friend. Sending prayers, sending lots of love. Oops. Let me take my herbal supplement. Asia said, I don't trust hospitals either. That's how my grandma and grandpa died. I'm sorry to hear that, Asia. They are definitely they're definitely a mixed bag. Barb says, thank you so much. Now I have to watch for bruising from the kidney surgery. Well, I'm glad you have Wolf to help keep an eye on things. Barb says, Asia, I have not too many things happening to me lately. I must keep my faith. And absolutely, and you do so beautifully, Barb. No one does it better for what you've been through, not just physically, but other things as well. The attacks that you've gone through, and you always return. You always return to your faith. It never abandons you. Yep, Asia said that's good, Barb. We have a good friend in our friend Asia. Very much appreciate you being here. Probably wrap things up in maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes, thereabouts. Let's see. Barb says I connected to Asia. Awesome. Love to see you guys making connections. It's been a bit of a quiet night. Had a good afternoon live stream. And it's been a good evening live stream that I've mentioned before. It's almost the same conversation, or thereabouts. Let's say the same enthusiasm. If I'm talking completely to myself, one person, or a room full of people, I come and do a live stream it's like a vocal meditation that I'm expressing what comes out moment by moment by moment, and it doesn't require an audience. However, I don't like thinking of anything as an audience. That's why it doesn't require an audience, because everyone is a participant in what we're doing. Everyone's a participant, and I like to think of it as an art form, conversational art form. What can we make out of the blank screen that we have when we start a conversation, and how it's shaped? And each of us get to shape it some way, almost like jazz, you know? Barb says, I did pour some resin today and done a short for things that came in. I saw some of the stuff. Barb says, well, I'm sending prayers and blessings to one and all. May you reach your goals and stay safe. Hugs. You as well, my friend. Keep us posted on how you're feeling, Barb. Hopefully our friend William Hart is getting some rest. I know he's been under some stress lately. Asia says, same with you, Barb, and I hope you have a speedy recovery. Thank you for that, Asia. Very nice. So I had thought maybe I'd give William a call after the live stream. I don't want to wake him up, though. Just thinking about chatting with him for 5 minutes. It's a little check-in. But I think I'll wait until tomorrow. But I'm certainly wishing him well. All right, so I think we'll wrap things up. I hope everyone has a good rest of the night. Again, it's Saturday, depending on where you are in the world. It might be Saturday afternoon. It might be Saturday night by now. Whatever you're doing, be safe, be happy, and we'll check in tomorrow. I'll be back for a 5 a.m. reading with the Tao Te Ching. I believe tomorrow is going to be day 73, which means we have 74, 7 more days, a week left of reading the Tao, and then we'll see what comes up after that. Asia says, have a blessed day. You too, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Hey, let me know if you start doing the soapstone carving. I gotta admit, when you said that and I looked at the video, I thought, that looks like a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind trying to do that. So, by the way, guys, our friend, I just had a pop-up. Our friend William Downey just went live. So if you guys want to continue a conversation, go say hi to William Downey on his channel. He's a good guy. It's always fun. It's great to spend time with William Downey. I want to at least pop in and say hi to him. Wish him a good night. Asia said you should try. I might. I always like new artistic endeavors. Mainly, art-wise, I'm a writer. I write every day. I've written every day for 25 years without missing a day. I've read a wonderful book, The War of Art, which obviously is a play on the art of war. It's by Stephen Pressfield, a wonderful writer, and it was about creativity and inspiration. Asia says, what's his name? It's Stephen Pressfield is the author. He wrote, if you want to be a writer, you show up and you write every day. Show up at your desk. Show up wherever you write. Pen in hand, pad, keyboards, desktop, laptop, doesn't matter. You show up and you write every day. And it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to have meaning for anyone else but you. But every day you commit, I am putting words on a page. Because that's what a writer does. If you want to be a meditator, you show up every day and you meditate. If you want to be a runner, you show up and you run. Writing isn't any different. The mistake that I made for well over a decade was believing I had to be inspired in order to write. And I would wait and wait and wait. Weeks, months, Probably a year would go by without me writing a single thing. And of course, that would cause no small amount of suffering, because if you want to be a writer and you're not writing, then you're a failure. But I had someone to blame. Not someone, I had something to blame. I can't write. I'm not inspired. I have writer's block. Um, I'm creatively stuck, or this or that. I don't have the time. I'm out of ideas. All excuses. One little book. Stephen Pressfield takes that all aside and says, throws it away. Write. Sit down and write. And it's amazing when you do that and you find out inspiration is always present. Inspiration has to be present. Inspire, in breath. That's what it means. Are you ever without a breath? As long as you're alive, you're breathing, you're inspired. Look out the window and pick anything and write about it. Again, it doesn't have to be good. Not everything is going to be War and Peace or Leaves of Grass or whatever work of art that you like. It's the same with, if you want to be any kind of artist, every day you have a pencil in your hand and you're drawing something, or you have a brush in your hand and you're painting something. I know someone who every day does a circle. Notebook after notebook, a notebook of circles, different types of circles. I don't know why. I don't care why. He loves them, and he tries to capture the expression of the circle for the day each time. It's his thing. It's his work. So he shows up. And you just write. You don't have to show it to someone. I share everything I write every day, because for me, that's my surrender. Once I share it, it's no longer mine. I've had people say, I don't like it. This is horrible. This is ridiculous. This doesn't make sense. I don't care. That's their interpretation of something that no longer belongs to me. I gave it away. When it was mine was when I was writing it. And now it's yours. If you don't like it, hey, that's on you. It's not on me. But you don't have to share it if you don't want to. The important thing is to write. Get a book. Any book. I'm just using this as an example. This is the book I've been reading from every day in the morning. Doesn't even matter the title. Look what I'm doing. I'm open up. First thing that came to me. You probably won't be able to see it. I'm just going to put my finger there. Be diligent is what it says. What can I write about diligent? I don't know yet. But if I start writing, something will come to me. Any book, that can happen. Look out your window. Write about a tree that you see. Write about a bird that you see. Write about a bird's nest that you see. Write about a single blade of grass that you see. That's inspiration. Everywhere. It's never absent. Never absent from anyone. Somerset Maugham, the great British playwright, he was asked by a group of creative writing students, is it better to write by inspiration or by appointment? Meaning that, you make an appointment. This is what time, this is my writing time. Show up at my desk every morning at this time to write. He said it's always better to write by inspiration. But fortunately, inspiration shows up at his desk every morning at 9 a.m. Meaning that's his writing time. For the most part, I've written everywhere. I've written during 24-hour races, 100-mile races. I've written by sending myself a text. But when I'm at home, most of the time, I have a sacred spot, which is this office. This is my writing place. This is my shrine of creativity. When I show up every morning at 4 a.m., with my cup of coffee in a mug that I've had forever, just having that mug here steaming is a trigger. It's time to write. Just being at this desk, 4 a.m., the keyboard's out, an empty screen in front of me, it's time to write. Everything is set up. It's time to write. No excuses. I can't think of anything to write about. What if you wrote about not being able to think of anything to write about? What if he wrote about an empty page? What if he wrote about the potentiality of that empty page. That just by looking at that empty page, anything could show up. The greatest story never written yet might show up. Or maybe a haiku. Or maybe just a bunch of words. Let's see. Mocha, Master Sergeant. Mocha, retired, is here. It says hello. Hey, Mocha. You guys just caught me. I thought about calling it a day. Sandesh Tina says, Eric, my friend, did you recognize me? I did not recognize you. Give me some hints. Sandesh? So, Asia, I hope that helps a little bit, my friend. Let's see, Mr. Poopinator, our good friend Mr. Poopinator. You're truly a different kind of inspiration. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Poopinator. I appreciate that. Asia says, it does? Awesome. Hey, Asia, if you ever want to share any of your writing with me, I'd be honored to see it. And I read without judgment. I read it from one artist to another, simply appreciating your creative endeavor, your creative output. Sandesh says, I came to your earlier live streams. We had a chat about Microsoft update bug and how that affected you. We talked about Starbucks is the best coffee in the entire galaxy. And I still agree. I still agree that it is. Well, you know what? Lately I've been drinking, for a long time now, instant coffee from Sprouts Market, organic. I like instant coffee, believe it or not. But Starbucks is pretty good coffee. Asia says, it was great talking to you. Have a great rest of your day. You too, my friend, and thank you. I appreciate you hanging out with me. T's here. You guys are just catching me. I was getting ready to call it an evening. T says, hello, everyone. Hi, Yogi. T, how are you doing? Poopinator says, people can always rely on good words and a cool live here. 1 in 5. Thank you for that, Mr. Poopinator. Believe it or not, I've added in a 5 a.m. live stream. Just for about anywhere from 10 minutes, sometimes all the way up to 40 minutes. Asia said, I will take you up on that. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Sandesh says, I'm in Seattle. That I remember. You're on the East Coast, maybe Ohio. Right on the East Coast, in the state of Maryland. T says, hi, Pooper, Mocha, and Sandesh. Mocha says, hey, Poop, Poop. Mr. Poopinator says, hello to T. Sandesh says, Mr. Roy Hart, the moderator, is not online right now. He might be in the live stream, but he might be asleep. He had mentioned that he was going to try to catch some sleep. Mocha says, hey to Bumblebee. Poopinator says, I noticed the 5 a.m. live. $5 a.m.s are some of my favorite ones. Although everyone keeps asking me to speak up, as I don't like talking real loud in the morning. Sometimes, I mentioned before the morning prayer of saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Sometimes that's the only words I say until 5 a.m. Other times, I'm talking to one of my cats. T says, Yogi, I'm tired because got woken up early, but rested and now dehydrated. I think I'm okay, but some symptoms a bit concerning with ME/CFCs. Well, I hope with the symptoms, you can, since you're catching them early, maybe that you can circumnavigate. T says, Milka, I hope you're well, sister. And Miss Pooper, I had a good poop today. We had an hour-long conversation about pooping this afternoon, believe it or not. And it was actually pretty productive. Mocha says, I hope you're well too. Sis, Poopinator says, yeah, 5 a.m. silence is key. Absolutely. So many people have said if you get up, in yogic traditions, it's called Brahma Muhurta, the hours of God. It's flexible hours because it's related to the sun. It's related to light. It's not related to the clock. And that if you were to get up in those specific hours, which is really about an hour, hour and a half before the sun rises to about 45 minutes after the sunrise, if you were to get up and meditate, if you were to get up and pray, if you were to get up and simply ask for what you truly wish for, that instead of asking for a yacht, what is the true need underneath it all of why you would want a yacht? It has nothing to do with a yacht. It has everything to do with what you think a yacht is going to fix in your life, or a new car, or this or that. So if you truly, truly ask for what you wish for, or if you truly ask to overcome something, or if you truly ask to have conscious contact with your version of the creator, whatever that might be, you can't help but get it because it's already there. T says, Yogi, it's not going to stop me. And I started a herbal supplement for it. Nice. It really seems that, T, that you're determined. That you have a new faith that you keep returning to. Pupine says, Zomo, they are much needed. T says, Mr. Pooper, did you know chamomile tea can make you so regular you go every day within 5 to 10 minutes? Same time each day. Pooper says, I get regular because of twisted tea. All good. T says, what's twisted tea? And Pooper says, Google will help you with that. So now I might have to Google that myself. I won't say it out loud. I have faith that there's a reason why our friend Poopinator. One of the first things that came up. Interesting. You know what? I hadn't heard of that before. T says, as I woken at 9 a.m. by ladies shouting an hour earlier, but the sister in charge gave the lady what for and was very strict with her, and she was a lot quieter. Nice. Rupert says, can't miss the bright yellow can. I am who I am. It is bright. It is bright yellow. That's for sure. I've never seen that. You would think that would be something that sometime in my life would have popped up. The nurse in charge, B says the nurse in charge told her to stop or the nurses would go home. Also, I found music calms her too. Nice. Bright yellow cans, do you mean mustard? Nope. Preparator says yes. If you get a chance, Google it up, T. All right, guys, in about 3 minutes, I'm going to call it a night. I made a vow that tonight I would finally get to bed a little bit earlier. Not much, but a little bit. We'll see if I can keep that promise. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. T says, dealing with my main night supplements. I just took mine. T says, night. Miss Preparator said, good night, Yogi. Good night, my friend. Thank you for coming by and hanging out. Very much appreciated. T says, Yogi, thanks for the 2 videos on breathing. You're welcome. I got a 3rd one that I'll send you. Remind me tomorrow and I'll send it to you. Or if I get a chance, I'll send it to you tonight. And I made another one today, but this one might not be for you. This is a more invigorating breath. It's a morning breath. It might be general enough for you to do. Maybe I'll make another version that will be easier for you. But yeah, I'm going to keep putting them out. So anyone who wants to do some breath work, let me know. T says, Yogi, hope we can chat soon. I hope so too. Let's shoot for tomorrow. We'll see if we can make it happen. I also would like to talk to our friend William Hart. But yeah, definitely. We'll definitely shoot for tomorrow. All right. Again, thank you guys. Just when I thought the conversation was over, Milka, Poopinator, and T showed up and took it in a whole nother direction. And it was a whole lot of fun. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Let's see. T says, Eric, please add one about the emoji with the fingers. I will. I think that's the one I might do tomorrow. And that is called Annulum Velum, alternate nasal breathing. Life-changing breath. T says, thanks, Yogi. Peace and blessings to you all. To you all as well. Thank you, guys. Again, much appreciated. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Maybe 5 a.m. Maybe not. But sometime tomorrow, for sure. Hey, T, tomorrow is Show Tune Sunday. Don't forget, show up and put your song in. Guys, take care.